All right, attempt number two. I filmed half of this video and didn't even unmute myself. So, y'all remember the last subject of discussion that we had where I was like, Jamie Dimon is lying to you all, and I pointed out why he is lying, or not why, but how he is lying to you all? Well, if y'all don't remember, it was based off of this video right here. This was a hearing up on, or up in the Capitol, and it was an anti-crypto, we need to shut it down type hearing. If you remember the last video, we talked about all this in great detail. Jamie Dimon is a liar. Not only is he invested in multiple crypto companies and businesses surrounding crypto, well, we'll dive into that in just a second. For those that didn't see that video, you should go back and check it, hear about some of the projects that Jamie's in, some of the stuff that he's doing. And then to save you some time, we'll just go ahead and play this clip just as a refresher.
I've always been deeply opposed to crypto, Bitcoin, et cetera. You pointed out the only true use case for it is criminals, drug traffickers, anti-money laundering, tax avoidance, and that is a use case because it is somewhat anonymous, not fully, and because you can move money instantaneously, and because it doesn't go through, as you mentioned, all these systems have built up over many years, know your customers, sanctions, OFAC, they can get bypass all of that. If I was the government, I'd close it down.
Okay.
I'm still angry about this. Like, Jamie, you're invested in multiple, and I mean multiple crypto companies. But you know what takes the cake out of all of it? Do you really know what takes the cake out of all of those guys? This right here. This is part of the BlackRock ETF filings that went out this week. Some of the adjustments and things that they have made, as read here, in addition to and independent of the initial purchase by the seed capital investor described above, the trust issues shares and baskets authorized to participants in exchange for deposits of cash on a continuous basis. As of the date of this prospectus, the authorized participants are Jan Street Capital LLC and J.P. Morgan Securities LLC. Didn't he just say on December 10th or 11th that he would shut all of cryptocurrency down? That makes me so angry. It makes me so angry. They're over there misleading the public. Normal Joe schmoes, people that aren't like me, people that go and listen to Jim Cramer and go into MSNBC and all these places, like the business things, for all their stock tips and listen to what these people tell you, even though they're not financial advisors. You buy this on Monday, you sell it on Friday. You buy it on Monday, it dips, and then you sell it on Friday right before it raises, listening to Jim Cramer. Or you sell it and it pumps, and then you buy back in and it dips. So it's just, there's a meme on the internet that's like inverse Kramer. It's like all these people are working against you, and like Kramer is one of them. So if you like you inverse Kramer, you're gonna succeed. Anything he says, the opposite happens. You know what got me scared? This got me scared.
But we didn't hear that pessimism from Powell. He actually did seem as jubilant as he ever gets, which admittedly isn't saying very much. In fact, in his typically understated way, he actually took a shot at all those recessionistas gone wrong. They'll probably continue to be wrong because, well, we got a strong, tight labor market, but more people coming back to the workforce. That means wages are not going to soar. He didn't say, we got a soft landing. Nah. Of course, that's what I would do. But we did indeed get the soft landing. So let's declare, with today's news, interest rates have peaked, and we now have the wind at our backs for some, not all stocks, and the wind is no longer in our favor.
Are you kidding me right now? That is so scary hearing him say that, because I sit back and I watch him call stuff, and then I personally will view the charts and watch them and watch it dip. It's not just some stuff I'm watching off the internet. Like, I personally know that he misleads people. You can look it up on the internet, inverse Kramer. That's all you gotta type in on Google, whatever search engine you want, type it in. It's a whole meme, guys. There's a meme about that dude. But like, where's the repercussions for Liz Warren? Where's the repercussions for Jamie Dimon for this stunt right here that scare like people from the older generation, their generation? They know, like, them up there talking about this stuff like this, that generation's gonna listen to them wholeheartedly. They don't get their news from platforms like older generations don't get their news from platforms like this. Not usually. It's very rare when they do. So they just believe everything they hear on the news, and we know this. We see it every day in the thing. But they literally have hurt numerous people, like in the process, like numerous people. I just want to show the record right here. Jamie Dimon, JP Morgan CEO, and Bitcoin, his record. On January 23rd, 2014, Bitcoin is a terrible store of value. November 5th, 2015, Bitcoin will not survive. January 20th, 2016, Bitcoin is going nowhere. September 12th, 2017, Bitcoin is a fraud. October 12th, 2017, I'm not going to talk about Bitcoin anymore. January 9th, 2018, I regret making that comment. October 30th, 2018. I don't really give a S about Bitcoin. September 21, 2022. I am a major skeptic on crypto tokens, which you call currency like Bitcoin. December 6, 2023. I have always been deeply opposed to crypto, Bitcoin, etc. If I were the government, I'd close it down. December 29th, 2023. BlackRock Valkyrie named authorized participants, including JP Morgan, for a Bitcoin ETF. Thumbs up, guy. Thumbs up. Congratulations. You played the American public. Our politicians are bought and paid for from companies like BlackRock, Vanguard. Is getting paid by companies like, or getting bought, or they get bought by people like Jamie Dimon, this guy right here. They do everything that they ask. And they're not gonna get. There's gonna be no repercussions for this. Them lying to you openly every day in public. They're not gonna. There's gonna be no repercussions for that. But if I say something, or like if I tell y'all to do something in the crypto sphere, or if I say, hey, do this, I would go to jail forever. Like they would fry me. They would try to come for all my assets and everything. Like I'm not gonna tell y'all to do anything. So don't invest in this space just because I'm saying it. But I'm showing you they are. Like that's the whole point of this. And I'm investing in this space because I'm trying to secure a future, a better, stronger future. But anyways, let's continue. There's countries like Argentina who embrace Bitcoin, who are now accepting Bitcoin as contract settlement. So that means the government will allow you to pay their debt or your debt with them in crypto or Bitcoin. That's an awesome little take. But if printing money would end poverty, printing diplomas would end stupidity. And I agree. We just keep printing money. We're getting ready. We're starting to fund wars. I don't know if y'all are aware, but Ukraine just sent missiles into Russia. I don't know your stance on the war. I don't care about your stance on the war. I'm not picking a stance in this war. Why do our world leaders want to keep pushing each other and prodding each other until we're in a world at war conflict, like multiple wars going on across this world? Not saying a world war, but like every country, fighting. But that's what it's shaping up to be. We're having economic warfare. We're having all of this warfare. It's kind of crazy. Like they're sending missiles into Russia with supposedly using NATO weaponry. Now, let me explain something to you all. Russia has already been warning that they will step this war up. They're just maintaining what they've already taken. I don't know what the news you all hear is. They're not really advancing too much. They're just keeping the land bridge to Crimea. That's all they really wanted. And they want NATO's weapons off of their border, but that's a different story. But anyways, another thing that happened this week, other than the BlackRock and Jamie Dimon stuff, I mean the ETFs, the first round of approvals, they're talking about the first week of January through the 10th. BlackRock is talking about starting to seed their ETF again with $100 million this time. So on January 3rd, they're at least the rumor and the paperwork they submitted is they're going to submit about $100 million into the market, the Bitcoin market, around January 3rd. So yeah, that's the ETF news. We're just waiting to see who's going to get the first round approval. The SEC put a deadline in for Friday last week for the paperwork to be in to be considered for the January stuff. So we'll see how it's going to go. I'm pretty bullish on this. I don't see them canceling it. I don't see them, you know, ending it just for the simple fact that ARC, like, their amendment was done. Um, One thing I do want to cover that we haven't covered, though, I'm going back to the debt clock. And as you can see, we're almost at $34 trillion. We're going to roll over there pretty soon. It's not going to take much time. But what I want to do is focus on over here where it says M2 dollar to USA dollar ratio now. If I'm not mistaken, the M2 is the total money supply in the system. That's the whole system as it's leveraged. And if you remember from the video where I explained fractional reserve banking, where the banks just take your money in and load out a portion, but right now, because of COVID, they have to have 0% reserves, so they're lending out 100% of all the money that they get. The total leverage is $1,777 to one physical US dollar. Back in 2000, it was $524 to one. So just keep that in mind. And the reason why, one thing I also want to say is I want to also point out that I really do believe that the ETFs are going to go through. Russia's getting ready to build a Bitcoin mining hub down in Africa. So seems like Ethiopia is going to turn into a global mining center. Despite the EU crypto sanctions, Russians are still using digital currencies. So, like, I don't. If you remember, we've talked about how you can't stop Bitcoin. Do you remember, like, we talked about how it compared to, like, the Pirate Bay, LimeWire, those things back in the day? Well, Bitcoin's the same technology, and they're gonna have problems stopping it. Bitcoin is designed to be censorship proof. It's designed that way people can still use it and transfer their monies from person or from place to place or to people, pay their transactions, and that way they can't get cut out of the whole global market. Now, I don't know if you are aware, but the US uses sanctions as economic warfare to keep countries suppressed when they don't do what they want to do. Other countries sanction us in the same regard, and this basically eliminates that type of government or governance and control over the world. And I mean, I understand that's what the US is afraid of, and that's why they don't want to back it. Like, that's why they were trying to stop it for so long, and they told people not to get into it and stuff, and I can understand that's probably why they're attacking it. But really, behind the scenes, that's what they want you to believe anyways. I can understand why they would say that, but when you actually look underneath the hood, they just want to make sure they're rich and the people are suppressed. And all these other countries just want to make sure they can transact freely. And that way they can build a better life for their people. Like, that's it. Like, I don't agree with what any of these countries are, but I also don't think economic warfare should happen. I don't think that's right. Like, you're going to impoverish a nation just because they don't want to bend to your will. I mean, that's not right. But I don't know. I'm not in a position of power. There's stuff that I don't know about that's going on in this world that we don't know about, that we're unaware of. Probably shatter our entire thinking of this world or how things work. I mean, just looking at the news and reading into stuff and doing more than just a face value. Let me listen to this short, or let me listen to the headline, or just read these headlines and I understand what's going on in the world. No, I actually dive, like, deeper into these things. And that's why I think that we're entering, like, a Cold War type thing for this sphere, because whoever has the most hash power controls the Bitcoin network. Whoever runs the most nodes, whatever country has the most nodes operating, can keep the ledger secure. Bad actors get control of the network. I don't think any country is good in the sense of controlling money and stuff. I think they would all manipulate it to where you were poor. And I think that's what they're trying to do now, but remember, Bitcoin is to cut all of these people out. What I don't understand is why, well, I understand it. They're pushing you all into these ETFs. They're going to make a big deal out of these ETFs. But a lot of people don't know you could buy these physical assets and hold them yourself. But here's the thing. These companies, when they do this, they make money off of just fees for managing your money, quote unquote, when really they don't really do nothing. They make the market. So like it doesn't matter what they do. Like if it's profitable, they get their 20% or whatever there is for their managing fees and all this stuff. And then if they're not profitable, you take a hit. They don't take a hit. You take a hit on your portfolio, but they won't take a hit. And it's sad. These people just take over these entire industries and they use your money against you and against people, and they can pick and choose if they're going to make you wealthy or not make you wealthy. Like these people control all the market. See, BlackRock and Vanguard are like two of the biggest asset managers in the world, or I think the two biggest asset managers in the world, but they invest in each other and they own each other. Wouldn't that make them the biggest monopoly in the world? But our government entities won't break them up because they're all paid for them or paid by them. My bad. All of our government politicians and stuff, they're not going to break that up. They won't. Just like they're letting Microsoft get as big as they want. Microsoft owns like half of the gaming industry now. It's crazy. It's crazy. Microsoft is buying like everything that they can. They're trying to own all of the gaming market. They're trying to corner everything. It's insane, and everything's turning into microtransactions, micropayments, and stuff. And like the general public doesn't realize it. All these companies are embracing this technology. So, like I was saying, Argentina is going to go ahead and allow contracts to be settled in other things like Bitcoin, like things they don't recognize right now as payments. As you can see right here, we ratify and confirm that Argentina contracts can be settled in Bitcoin, said Mondino, and also any other crypto. So that's pretty bullish for this space, y'all. Very, very bullish for this space. In the meantime, while they're telling you they want you to shut down all of the Bitcoin network and that it's a scam and you all shouldn't get into it. Remember, that's what Jamie Dimon told you. So he was telling you that it's a scam and to keep your money out of it. And believe me, a lot of people are going to believe that. MicroStrategy, the largest corporate holder of Bitcoin, added more to its holdings on Wednesday, buying another 14,620 Bitcoin for around 615.7 million. And I tell you what, he bought it earlier, and like I think last month too. I don't remember what it. Well, he's been buying nonstop, as you can see in this article. He's sitting at 189,150 Bitcoin. And remember, the fair share is 0.003. Like if it was divided equally, there's only 8 million people on the planet. There's only 21 million Bitcoin. He is buying them all as much as he can. And this is just one company that's publicly stating that they're putting this money out and they're buying Bitcoin. Imagine how many people are doing it. How many of these companies are secretly doing it behind the scenes? How many of these people are acquiring this asset and they don't want you to know? Please tell me. Now, of the 19-ish million in supply, it's a little over 19 million now. They project anywhere between $1 to $2 million or 2 million coins are floating around on the market. When you got people buying 615.7 million, and this is just one person, this isn't anything like these ain't the countries that are planning on doing anything with this stuff. Like seriously. Y'all, this isn't it's insane. Also, since we're keeping up with the news that came out this week that a 90-year-old Saudi Arabian So in other news, it just came out that it is acceptable to use Bitcoin under Islam. I got an article right here. So according to the news article that I found, this is the entire thing right here. I'm going to go ahead and link it down in here. This is a big deal. Them allowing Bitcoin to be purchased, that is a big deal. For the simple fact that, look, these countries want to get off the US dollar. They're trying to collapse our economy because once the dollar collapses, it's going to leave us spinning for water. We already are spinning in the water, damaged, like a wounded animal waiting for the shark to come rip us apart. I mean, it's getting pretty bad. I mean, across the country and the world, things are pretty bad. We rely on China for most of our medication and things like that. Most of our goods are shipped out of China. China does a massive amount of manufacturing in the world. You got countries now uh, trying to pirate, or I mean, they've been doing it, but it's getting worse where they're trying to pirate the shipping trade lanes and stuff like that. Like things are getting serious, y'all. So Russia just announced that them and Iran finally fully ditched the US dollar for trade. They're going to use their local currencies instead. I mean, you all don't think that this is a big deal, but this is a very big deal because the more that this happens across the world, the worse shape our dollar is going to be. And they keep printing more, and the more supply and the more availability drives the price of that asset down. US dollars is an asset, and yes, you can drive its spending value down. It's called forex. I mean forex trading and stuff. You can trade your currency versus other currencies, and if the U.S. dollar is no longer the world's reserve currency, I'm sorry to tell you, we're gonna falter as the world's largest economy. Another topic that I want to get into, since we like to call out corruption here, another thing I want to go ahead and discuss over here is this. So we've discussed who this is. This is our SEC chairman. He was the guy that used to speak at MIT and give speeches and be pro crypto. If you don't recognize this poofy haired kid, well, he ain't a kid, and that's how they try to portray it. He's as old as me. He's like in his 30s. But anyways, this is Sam Bankman-Fried. He was the guy that stole his customers' assets, spent them, had fun, had a penthouse, had sex escapades in the Bahamas, and spent your money on anything he wanted to. Well, he spent $100 million of that on U.S. politicians, donating to their campaigns, donating to their causes, and he did so using those customers' funds. Now, I believe that all of those customers' funds should be called back. I believe anybody that accepted money from this guy should be investigated, and I believe anybody that had ties to this man should not have had any decision making into forgiving this guy. And I'm sure they did. I'm sure if you did a FOIA request, I'm sure you would find some information out. You'd find some really sleazy information about these people. But anyways, down here, there's Caroline Ellison. That was SBF's girlfriend, lover, fling. I don't know what she was. But anyways, the funny thing is this all wound up being a whole little circle because both of these people were talking or working with Gary over here. Well, I mean, at least Sam was. Gary worked with Glenn. Glenn Ellison is Caroline's father. SBF met with Gary Gensler numerous times, but Gary Gensler had no idea that customers' assets were being stolen at all. You're lying. You're kidding me, right? So you're telling me that this isn't how this worked? I don't believe you. I really don't believe you. I think it's crazy how every other crypto exchange and everything was shut out of the SEC. The SEC attacked all of them, but SBF got a free pass. Like this dude, you don't believe me? Do you remember that deal that they were trying to cut with Hunter? Oh, look, Do you remember that deal they were trying to cut with Hunter? Do you remember that deal they were trying to cut with Hunter? That sweetheart deal? I'm sorry, but bribing politicians is a crime. Using your customers' funds to pay those politicians should be a crime. There's people across this world that got destroyed. People unalived themselves because of this man stealing their livelihoods, their money. And he got off. Disgraced FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried, who was found guilty in November on 7 counts of fraud and conspiracy, won't face a second trial at all after feds told U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan in a Friday letter that in the interest of expediency, I would drop 6 charges related to SBF's second trial, including conspiracy to bribe foreign officials, commit bank fraud, and operate unlicensed money transmitting business. Look, let me tell you something. We look at all these other countries and we talk about oligarchs. We talk about all the corruption. We talk about all this stuff. And these other countries point inwards and say, look at y'all. Look at what your people are doing. This is what they mean. Like, I'm not taking up their side. I'm not going to say that they're better than us. And I'm not going to say we're not worse than them. Like, I don't know on a scale of what magnitude, how bad this really is. But imagine, like, you take a grain of what we know, the Twitter files, what they're doing to a former president, what they're doing to his legal counselor, how they're attacking. There's still people in jail from January 6th, which I'm not saying that was okay, but there's still people there that haven't even seen a trial, that haven't even seen the light of day, that are sitting in like solitary confinement cells, or their families haven't heard from them, or stuff like that. Like, they're sitting in depraved conditions, and and half the U.S. population acts like it's no big deal, but they can do this to anybody they deem a threat, and that's what scares me. Is like, this guy over here stole millions, billions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, donated $100 million to U.S. politicians, and they're not even going to give them any time for it. I mean, I guess it pays to go ahead and do this stuff and to pay off the right people. I mean, you ain't going to get in trouble if you pay the right people, and I'm sure when he does his time in prison, he's going to be living in one of the most cush places imaginable. Like, it's sad, y'all. It's literally sad, the state of the United States. And I I wonder what's gonna happen in the future. Like, taking a little side note, like, I really wonder what's gonna happen in the future. Like, I want to know where this is all gonna go. I want to know how this all works out in the end. Like, if Bitcoin takes over, what's gonna happen to the governments? Are they gonna be? Are they gonna force the people into a central bank distributed currency, or a central bank digital currency? I believe that they're gonna do so. And I mean, we've gone over why that's bad. I mean, they want to cap how much money you make. You've seen what they did in Canada to the truckers. All of this stuff is test pilots. They're trying to see what the public deems as acceptable. They're busing migrants in. They're flying migrants in all over the world. We got more migrants coming into the United States than we have children being birthed now, which is insane to me. Which is insane. And without a border, we don't have a country. And I firmly believe that pretty soon we're going to have a black swan economic catastrophe, that they're going to have to, quote unquote, rework the entire banking system, the way our money works, our taxes, how everything works, and as a whole, to make sure it doesn't happen again and stuff like that. I mean, that's how I fully believe this is going to happen. Like, it's got to be some type of black swan. Something's going to happen. And these people are gonna say, for your safety, trust us. We got your best interest at heart. And anybody that has ever dealt with the government knows that whenever the government says, we have your best interest at heart, don't worry, we're gonna take it from here, we're in trouble. And that's pretty much what they've been saying. So yeah, I think this is a good little spot to leave it here. This is a good little catch up on some of the news articles and my opinion on it, and things that are going on. And yeah, I truly appreciate you all taking the time to spend with me before the New Year's. I got a video coming out on New Year's Day for you all about my plans going forward. So I want to thank you all so much for being a part of my 2023. And there's so many more great things to come. And I hope that you have a blessed 2024. And I can't wait to see you all there. If you like the delivery of the content I provided, please go ahead and drop a like down below. If you dislike it, dislike if you can. Go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know why. I want to go ahead and make this stuff better for you. And yeah, if you have any questions or any thoughts or opinions on some of the topics that we covered, I would greatly appreciate it. If you go ahead and leave a comment down below, I really want to engage with y'all about this stuff. I think there's some conversations to be had about some of this news and stuff that we cover. And I'm going to start trying to do it a little bit more frequently. Maybe possibly live in 2024. Maybe get to see my face while I do it. We're going to try to make some changes. We got some things in the work over here, and yeah. So I'm very, very bullish and very optimistic on the way that 2024 is going to go. I mean, I got to go film the other part of the next video. So I'm going to go do that, and then we got to get in the heavy editing, and then relaxing, bringing the New Year's in. So yeah, y'all. Thank you so much for watching, and so it comes to my attention that most of y'all are not subscribed to my X or my Rumble, YouTube, Facebook account, and it would greatly help me out. It'll start getting me out there a little bit more if y'all could just go ahead and hit that follow or subscribe button down below, or you know how it all works. But this is my X account right here, and if you're on YouTube, Facebook, or Rumble, there should be a follow button.